Hey creative souls, word witches, writers. In this video, I will be talking about how the full moon and a few other aspects can help benefit your writing practice. For this video, I consulted the interpretations of Kelly at Kelly's Astrology, so check the description for links to her channel and her video. But first, a big announcement, at least it's big to me. You know how I've been threatening for a long time to finish the Alchemy of Writing course? I did it. I finally did it. I had to let a lot of other things go so that I could finish it, but I felt good about doing that. And it's available now. So if you haven't heard me talk about this before, the price for the course is $188. You can get it for free if you join the Alchemy of Writing membership group with a 10-month commitment at the founding member price of $18 a month. And that offer is good through the end of the day on November 22nd. Then as of the 23rd, the membership price will go up to $28 a month. And you can still get the course for free. And the time commitment on the $28 membership price is 7 months. So I'll put links in the description for that as well, so you can learn more and register if you like for either or. So you know how I love to celebrate accomplishments and how I always encourage you to do the same thing, no matter how small they are. Well, I feel like this is a big one for me, and it calls for a celebration. And this may sound strange, but one of the ways I'm going to celebrate is to clean my living space and organize it. And like I said, nearly everything else was put on hold while I got that course finished, and it was very gratifying to finish it, but my surroundings became quite chaotic, and I need to remedy that because it interferes with my ability to focus and concentrate. I don't look at cleaning and household chores as work anymore. To me, it's more of a sacred act to honor the space that I spend so much time in and the space that I write in. And it will help me get my head back in my own writing practice. I'm also going to plan a short weekend away with Iris, my kitty, so I can enjoy nature. I'll probably go to the woods. That's one of my favorite places to write and just recharge. So I'll just go away, do a kind of reset, and then come back and go on to the next thing. But who knows? With what's happening in the sky right now, I am open to unexpected surprises. So let's get to what's happening. This full moon is in Taurus at 24 degrees. It's the final supermoon of the year. Kelly says that this full moon, because it's in earthy Taurus on its own, is very calming and grounding. So we can make choices now that are realistic and grounded in reality. However, and there always seems to be a however lately, have you noticed? Conjunct, so right next to this full moon, is unpredictable Uranus at 25 degrees Taurus. And if that's not enough, Venus moves into Capricorn. And it may have done that a few days ago. It may be happening on the full moon or the day after, but it's in this realm of the energy that we all have to work with right now. And so Capricorn is about being reasonable and organized, making choices we can stick to. So that kind of aligns nicely with the full moon that's grounded, so we can make those choices based in reality. And then we have this other assistance that will help those choices stick, those decisions that we make. So that's a good thing. So be really thoughtful about the choices that you make. All right, so let's first look at the themes of Taurus. Taurus is tactile, so it loves touch, feeling a sensation of touching different surfaces and objects. Taurus is enjoyable. It's very sensory, so all the senses, not just tactile, and it's embodied, so it has to do with the body, or physical forms. So what might this mean for your writing practice? Well, to help make the most of it, and with this current energy, spending time outdoors or in nature will help you ground yourself and stay in your body, which will enhance your focus. It's when we start kind of dissociating or disconnecting from our bodies, from ourselves, it's when our focus can go awry and we don't get as much done. And our writing practice can feel a lot more laborious than it needs to. So my trip to the woods is coming along at the right time. It might also mean being even more conscious about what you feed yourself. So maybe cooking really luscious, nutritious foods. It's soup season, and I love making soup, so I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I like to think of our bodies as sacred containers for our subconscious, which is where all of the good stuff comes when we write. In fact, neuroscientist Candace Pert said that your body is your subconscious mind, and I talk about this in my Writing Through the Body method. So there is no separation, according to her, between our subconscious and our physical bodies that we can touch. So taking care of your sacred container, your vessel, is truly important for your creativity. It also right now might mean spending quality time with people that you trust and that honor you for being who you are and who honor the fact that you are a writer and it's important to you. We spend plenty of time alone in our writing spaces, right? And inside our own heads. So it's a really good practice to take a break from that sometimes and be around other people. People that feed us, not people that drain us, because that will interfere with the flow and the ability to focus and concentrate and create. So make sure it's people you truly trust and vibe with. It might also be a good time to splurge on something that's body focused. So maybe a massage, maybe a trip to the spa if you can manage that. And don't forget that something as simple as stretching or taking a walk will get you in your body and keep that energetic flow going, which really is what the creative process is all about. And then there's Uranus. So this full moon serves as a spotlight of sorts on this planet of freedom, change, innovation, and it can also create some upheaval. So that with all this earthy energy of Taurus, you might feel this really strong, restless energy and be questioning your habits and routines, which I think is always a good thing. It's wise, I think, to sometimes question the way things have always been done, the way we've done things for a long, long time. It's really easy to get caught in the grooves of habitual action that can over time become stagnant and interfere with our ability to create. I just posted a video about a big change I'm making in my life to make more room in terms of time and energy for my writing practice. I'm letting go of something that has meant a great deal to me. So check out that video and see what it is. And then leave me a comment over there and let me know what you're changing and what you're letting go of. I really would love to know. This is a prime time for us to be doing this, for making big changes. And so I hope that you will, consciously of course, make big changes that will benefit your writing practice and your life in general. Because even though I am all about the writing, and writing is a priority for many of us, it's not everything. Kelly says this is a time of really thinking about and acknowledging how systems and structures need to evolve. So spend some time thinking about how the systems and structures of your life either enhance or interfere with your ability to write. And this is one of the topics I address in my Alchemy of Writing course. And so the timing of completing that, I didn't plan it this way, but it couldn't be better. And Kelly says this really is a time to break from the past and move away from the way things have always been done. So it's really a time to question those ingrained aspects of our lives and push past tradition. And this doesn't mean you need to change up everything you're doing, because sometimes one small change can kind of create this domino, this cascade effect, and change all sorts of other things, because it can be energetic, right? So it could create this positive domino effect of sorts. And the good news is that any changes we make now will likely stick. So again, like I said earlier, choose wisely. You might find yourself shifting perspectives right now, or you might see situations that have previously seemed secure to you. They may now start to feel restrictive. And in the Alchemy of Writing course, I spend an entire module talking about perspective. And this is not perspective as in point of view, a writing element, but perspective as in mindset, the way you view writing and yourself as a writer. And kind of in line with that, Kelly says we may acknowledge that certain parts of life have become so safe that we kind of feel bored with them, which could be keeping us from evolving. Because if we maintain the same energy, the same habits, the same practices, the same everything indefinitely, we become stagnant. Our flow becomes stagnant, our energy becomes stagnant, and it's very hard to create in that kind of vacuum. So how do you need to evolve as a writer? What have you been doing in your life that has started to feel like the same old, over and over again? So this is a really good time to question what is deeply anchored in your life that may not be serving you well anymore. Think about the area or areas of your life that relate to your Taurus placement in your chart. Where is yours? So I've mentioned this before in other videos. You can just get online and Google search free astro chart, and you will find several sites where you can look yours up and see where Taurus lands in your chart. And then whatever house it's in, that's what this aspect will mostly be impacting in your life. So check it out to see what's happening there with this full moon. So for me, I have Venus in Taurus in the 8th house. So it's all about deep connections with other people and money. And I've had it described by a lot of astrologers as other people's money. So it's about how other people's money shows up in our lives. So what can I say? I'll take it. I'm wide open over here, ready to receive, just letting the universe know. And Kelly says this is a good time to get curious. So just imagine, what would it be like to be jolted out of your current place, your current situation, your current existence? What would that look like, and how would it feel? Is there something you want to break free of? Has fear of some kind been showing up and hampering your ability to write, affecting your writing practice or your current project? And this could be fear of any kind about anything, because everything that impacts our energy, our nervous system, our physical body, our mind, our spirit, impacts our writing practice. For example, some of you may have had a fear of not getting it right. I hear this a lot, but what does getting it right really mean? What are you striving for? If it's perfection, I hope that that is a thing you can let go of. Taking care with our work is important, yes, but we need to be willing to write and not have it be perfect. Let it be what it is, and know that we can go back and make it better. Every word we put on the page or on the screen is not etched in stone. Everything is fixable and changeable in our writing. It might be fear of not having enough time. And so what does that mean? Enough time for what? One of my very first writing teachers used to tell us, life is short, art is long. And so the message in that for me is that sometimes we can get caught up in this feeling of like, oh, I only have this certain amount of time, and I have so many other things I want to write in my life before it ends, that I need to get this thing done and finalized. And that just puts a kind of pressure on the creative process that isn't really needed. In fact, it's destructive some of the time. And it might be a fear of feeling vulnerable or exposed in some way. And so just ask yourself, vulnerable to whom? And exposed how? And is it anything more outrageous than any other writer has ever done? So all that what-ifing, all that fear can really be a big stick in the spokes of your writing practice, of your writing flow. And I always say that when in doubt, when you feel stuck, just write. Stop worrying about whether or not what you're writing in this moment is the right thing that your novel needs. We don't sort these things out before they're written. We write to sort them out. So that means perhaps writing scenes or passages that may not be used in the end. And we have to be okay with that. This is not a waste of time. This is part of the process. I've seen so many people hit this really deep period of stuckness that becomes this ennui, which is like a bordering on apathy. Yet they have this rumbling deep inside them that, this almost angsty rumbling under this layer of I can't do this, and to the point of I'm so stuck I'm paralyzed, and it all can start to feel like too much. And I see this when people want to sort out the story trajectory before they write. And they think they can sort it out in their minds and then do it, but it does not work that way. You will stay stuck if you do that. It is the act of writing that makes things clear to us. I've also seen people attempt to write their novel in order. I see this a lot. People, and it's kind of along the same lines of figuring out the trajectory. They think they need to write the story as they see it unfolding in their mind. But I think there's a kind of divine order to creativity which feels like chaos to us. And this is where the trust in ourselves and our own creative process comes into play. And we need to really embrace that to be able to keep moving forward and getting the thing written. So we have to keep writing and keep moving forward, even if we write things that we ultimately don't use, to keep the flow going. And there's that quote, I don't have it in front of me right now, by I think it was E.L. Doctorow, that said, writing is like driving a car at night in the fog. You can only see as far as the headlights, but eventually it will get you where you're going. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling like you're caught in this tight bubble, unable to move forward, if you've been feeling frustrated, now is the time to move beyond whatever that fear or stuckness is focusing on and explore a new, authentic option or approach for yourself. As Kelly says, the full moon in Taurus is far more nurturing and calming when Uranus is not involved. So making changes right now might feel a bit like going against the grain. It might feel more arduous, but try them anyway. We don't know until we try something, and try it for a few times. You might be surprised what works and what sticks. The good news is that this is the last full moon with Uranus getting involved for a while, and it marks the end of a cycle. So that's always good, to complete a cycle and know that, okay, we're turning a page of some kind energetically and moving into something new. And shifts in energy are always a good thing. Kelly says there will be a series of heightened activations on November 15th and 16th. So I'm doing my best to get this posted by November 14th. It may be early on the 15th when I get this up, but just know that for the 15th and 16th, there are going to be some heightened activations happening that could really shake things up, she says. So even more of this moving away from energy that you're comfortable with. It's like, it really is like the energies in the universe right now are pushing us to do something. And so like I said, I do believe what I mentioned earlier, that if we don't make those changes ourselves, it's like, have you ever done this? I remember when I used to have jobs that I would push myself, and I would know I needed a break, but rather than take a mental health day, I would just keep going, and then my body would get sick, and I would be forced to stay home and rest, and not in a very fun way, not in a productive way, just lying prone, waiting to get better. So it really does behoove us to make those choices for ourselves instead of getting a big kick in the ass from the universe. Kelly also says we might find ourselves feeling impulsive during this time, so maybe doing things we don't typically do, being a lot more spontaneous. And this could be a good thing in terms of taking action and making changes, right? It could be good in terms of initiating, getting things moving, especially considering we have a Mercury retrograde coming up very soon. And Kelly recommends, if possible, keeping our options open during this heightened energy, especially on the 15th and 16th. Just wait until it has passed to see if these spontaneous ideas we have still make sense. Unless, of course, whatever comes is out of our control. And then we need to plot a new path for ourselves and figure it out. It really is like creating a story trajectory for a character, right? It's like that inciting incident or obstacles that come along call for another decision, another action from the protagonist. The same's true for us. Another thing to think about at this time is that Venus, the ruler of Taurus, so full moon's in Taurus, so Taurus's ruler Venus is in Capricorn. So that's another earth placement, and it will even more deeply enforce this embodied side of the full moon that I mentioned earlier. Capricorn can be calm, it likes to know what to expect. So this might mean keeping an eye on a long-term goal. The last thing to consider, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, right? So Venus, the ruler of the sign that the full moon is in, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, then that also plays into the mix. And Saturn has been retrograde for about 4 or 5 months, and it goes direct also on the 15th, so the day right after the full moon. So Kelly says this is an activation of wisdom and maturity. So this might mean getting in touch with someone who is older than you, or has more experience than you, or is trained in a certain area that you don't know as much about. Just getting in touch for some advice or guidance. And I actually had to do that this morning about something else that's happening in my life. And so if you are finding yourself faced with that, just honor it and go with it. Or it could mean just really going deep inside yourself and finding your own inner wisdom and guidance. So really trust yourself. If you need to reach out to someone for help with an aspect of your writing that you're struggling with, just do it. They can help you, get you unstuck, and get you moving forward. And if that is something you're interested in, I have a couple of slots left for the rest of this year for people who would like to work with me one-on-one. And so you can contact me through my website, which the link will be in the description. You can email directly at hello@johnnymazzacco.com, and either I or one of my helpers will be in touch about next steps. So I wish you the best, lovely writer, creative soul. I hope this full moon and the other planetary aspects treat you well, and that you can use this energy they offer to us to enhance and benefit your writing practice. As always, sending you mad writing mojo. Happy writing.